You're watching Any Given Thursday by Chat Sports. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. rolling along with you on a Thursday like we always do. Chase, the Golden State Warriors just keep on rolling, baby. And we know you guys like watching our Warriors videos. So let's get into the latest. Let's first start with the injury around Draymond Green after their win on Wednesday night.
Yeah, so Green left the Warriors win last night over the Minnesota Timberwolves early with a thigh contusion. According to Steve Kerr after the game, he's going to be questionable for Golden State's game on Friday night against the Chicago Bulls, a Bulls team that's actually really gotten off to a nice and pleasant start after they were so busy in NBA free agency. And the Warriors, if Draymond Green is out for an extended period of time and the organization doesn't believe that he's going to be out for a long time, are going to miss him on both ends of the floor. I know a lot of people like to throw shade and make fun of him for basically not being an offensive threat any longer, but he has such an all-around game that Golden State really relies on. This year he's averaging a little less than 8 points per game, a little more than 8 rebounds, and he's always been a very good passer in the low post as well as the high post. But Harrison, I think the area in which Golden State could miss Draymond the most is on the defensive end of the floor, because on that end of the floor, he's still one of the premier players across the entire NBA, a guy who is always going to be in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year, a guy who's going to be a first team, second team, or third team all-defender, and this year he's been a big component for that Warriors team who has the top-ranked defense in the NBA, Harrison.
Yeah, and a stat that just emerged earlier today was the top 10 defenders based on opponent field goal percentage, and Draymond's in the top 10. Like he always is. So that certainly hurts if he misses some games here, especially against a team like the Bulls who have, 4, 5, 6 legitimate offensive threats. The emergence of Lonzo Ball this year, shooting the basketball, has been impressive as well. So that'll certainly be a fun game on Friday night, and if he is out, he will certainly be missed for that one. But Golden State coming off that 123-110 win in which Draymond got banged up in. Andrew Wiggins, hello. He had a big game. We'll talk about him as well. Steph Curry stayed hot. You mentioned Wiggins in fuego. How about 14 of 19, started 9 for 9 in the first half, ended up with 35 points. This obviously isn't going to be the norm for him, but the fact that your third or fourth best player can go off and give you 35 really shows the potential and how special this team can actually be this year.
This is why I continue to say that this Warriors team and the semblance of this roster reminds me of some of those teams that went to 5 straight NBA Finals, because of course they hit you with that star power led by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. But Harrison, I thought it was the depth pieces on those rosters that really made those teams impressive. And on any given night, you're looking at a Warriors roster who could have a couple of different players going off. For Andrew Wiggins to step up, and he's gotten off to a somewhat of a slow start, but I accept no Andrew Wiggins slander, because I think while he might be overpaid, he's underrated, and he's such a great defender. On any given night, he can go off too. I mean, 35 points on 14 and 19 shooting, 3 of 6 from deep, 2 steals. That goes to show you how good he is defensively, and it was a couple of the poster dunks on his former teammate and team, Karl-Anthony Towns. He was giving the T-Wolves the business.
That was the athleticism we saw when he was coming out of Kansas. That's why a lot of people compared him to LeBron James, which was extremely unfair, obviously. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about Wiggins last night. Said he was fantastic, the aggression from the beginning of the game, loved his energy. Obviously, he was pretty excited to get to play against his old team, and we needed everything he brought us. The scoring, the running the floor, getting to the foul line, and knocking down threes. He was tremendous. And Chase, I mean, I think my point of earlier of if this is your third, fourth best player, and he's capable of giving you 30, we know he's going to defend hard. We know he can guard multiple positions and be that secondary type of scorer. But if he has 6 to 10 of these games throughout the season where he's carrying the offense, that's a nice little addition as well to his game.
It's wild how much he reminds me of Harrison Barnes, with Barnes' role during some of those runs and what Wiggins has given this team on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, similar style of plays as well, similar body types. It's very similar. Do you like Andrew Wiggins? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think the storyline has really changed around him, and you guys get your votes in. And what's crazy about Wiggins, Chase, is I think he's the ultimate proof of, if you get into a winning culture and a winning situation in an environment that knows how to maximize talent like the Warriors have over the past decade or so, it can change everything. I mean, Andrew Wiggins was almost considered a bust by a lot of people when he was in Minnesota. You bring him in here, sure, he's never going to probably be worthy of that number 1 pick status, but he's a very good player. Like, he's become a really key component to this team, and I think the Warriors probably considered trading him, and they're probably feeling pretty good that he's on this roster now.
The Warriors are Apple, and the Timberwolves are a team that cratered, or a business that cratered like 5 years ago.
They're Radio Shack.
It's not even close. It's Radio Shack. It's Kmart. It's all those other businesses that just couldn't adapt and evolve over time or be smart and savvy. The Warriors, Silicon Valley, Microsoft, Apple, the real ones.
You want to prove Golden State can maximize talent? How about what Gary Payton II has been able to do? And what's crazy about him is, look, we know who his dad is, right? The DNA is in his blood, but the athleticism has been on full display over the past couple of weeks for Gary Payton II. He threw down a nasty alley-oop from Steph Curry last night. And this kid's fun to watch, man. He's providing energy and a great defensive play off this bench, and from time to time, he's able to score as well.
It's crazy that the 15th roster spot came down to him and Avery Bradley, and he was let go by this organization at first. All other teams across the NBA had an opportunity to bring him in, and they didn't. Golden State did, and now it's Gary Payton II coming in off the bench, who has really given this team awesome minutes. And I'll tell you this, did any of us know that GP2 was flying and had bounce like that?
I don't remember that on the scouting report coming out of Oregon State several years ago.
He's got pogo sticks, Harrison. That dunk last night was crazy.
He's still gliding in midair as we speak. I mean,
hey, dunk contest? He'd be the perfect guy to be in a dunk contest. Let's go.
I'm in. Get Gary Payton to the dunk contest. There's no doubt about it. And you mentioned that point, Chase, of choosing Gary Payton over Avery Bradley. Looks like that was the right call.
Golden State fans were right, and I have to give them credit because our Warriors channel has been growing like crazy. A big reason for that, passionate, diehard fans who tune into our videos that get 30, 40,000 views sometimes. Last year, when GP2 got signed by the Golden State Warriors, they were saying, this guy has to be a part of this core moving forward. GP2 should be getting more minutes. And I'm like, he's a rotation player coming in off the end of the bench. That's about it. But actually, he can actually be a key cog of this rotation. So shout out to Dubs fans for keeping us in check and being right about GP2. They were right.
I mean, the thing about Warriors fans is, they're diehard, nitty-gritty fans, right?
Yeah,
because this is not one of the, blue blood franchises over the history of the NBA. This is a fan base that is very passionate. They always used to sell out the old Oracle, and obviously now in San Francisco, they got passionate fans there as well. Let's transition from a new name in Gary Payton II to an old one. Kelly Oubre. Was moving on from him a mistake? We'll tell you here in just a few moments, but I do want to tell you guys about our sportsbook partner first in just a moment. That, of course, is BetUS. Guys, bet on the Warriors. If you don't know how to gamble on sports, just money line the Warriors every night. You don't even have to worry about the point spread. You're going to make some money. They're 10-1. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CHAT125. You put down $100, you'll get that $125 for free with that 125% deposit bonus. The key is to use the link below. Otherwise, you can't take advantage of the promo code, which, of course, is CHAT125. All right, Kelly Oubre, Chase, who we saw last year when he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's cold. That's been true this year. Well, he was sizzling against Memphis last night. Was it a mistake letting him go, or is this just like one of those random Oubre games?
I've just had some Warriors fans slide in my DMs saying, Chase, it's a mistake that the Warriors let Kelly Oubre go. Well, last night you just saw the numbers. He had the best bench performance of any Charlotte Hornet in the history of the franchise, and I understand the history of the franchise isn't that long. They haven't had a lot of great players, but Kelly Oubre last night was great for a night. But here's the problem. He's way too inconsistent, and I thought you hit the nail on the head, Harrison. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he is frigid cold. And it isn't a mistake that Bob Myers didn't elect to bring him back in NBA free agency. So for those asking, the answer to that question is no. 2 years, $24.5 million, way too much for Kelly Oubre. And I think what I love about what the Warriors did in free agency, they used that money and allocated it to multiple different players instead of just one player. Yeah. And that's why the depth on this team is so great.
And that's something we've talked about dating back to the end of last season. I mean, just go back to the game against the Grizzlies, the play-in game.
Yeah.
What was the problem? after Steph Curry, he had no help. Like, you had to get some depth on this roster, and letting a guy like Kelly Oubre go helps you do that. You're able to bring back a guy like Andre Iguodala. You find Gary Payton out of nowhere. You get guys like Otto Porter Jr., guys who have played in this league for a long time. So I think that doing that ultimately was the right move. And honestly, for Oubre, it was probably better for him, too, to just get with a young nucleus in Charlotte, get a better opportunity. So, hey, we'll be tracking Kelly Oubre all season long on Golden State Warriors Today. That I can promise you. But I think it's a bit of a one-game anomaly more than, it was a huge mistake. Guys.
Nice word there.
Warriors,
anomaly.
Warriors are what, 10-1?
Yes.
I think they'll be
best record in the league.
Yeah, they're going to be just fine. Do you miss him, though? I know we do. Type N for miss. Type H for, he's gone. Who cares? Let us know down in the comments if you miss Kelly Oubre Jr. or not. And while you're at it, hey, subscribe to Golden State Warriors Today. It's youtube.com/Warriors TV. Don't miss any of our videos. It's basically Warriors Daily at this point. Chase, they call him the content daddy over there. youtube.com/Warriors TV for some more Warriors videos.